Coming up on today's episode of the SaaS School podcast.
If you don't find out why are they here or what problems are they solving, you have no pace to follow up with them. It's like a hospital throwing you messages saying that we do brain surgery, we do cancer, we do kidney, we do this, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's explore how growth, product, and customer success work together across SaaS companies. Welcome to the SaaS School podcast. And here's your host, Abhinav Arora. Abhinav, the stage is yours.
Howdy, good folks. Welcome to yet another episode of the SaaS School podcast. Today we have with us Anup Oswal. He's a really senior guy in the industry. The metrics that I'm getting from him is a very interesting number, 666. In the last 6 years, he's closed $6 million and he has 6 lessons to share from his journey. Anup, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Anup. I am working at Senbird as an enterprise sales guy. Prior to Senbird, I used to work for Branch, and prior to that, I used to work for CleverTap. So I've been in the early SaaS team, helping companies drive adoption in mobile-first companies.
What are the kind of clients you sell to?
I basically sell to anyone who is digital first, mainly who has an app, who is mainly B2C, and maybe who will have like a lot of volume of millions of MAUs. And by MAUs, I mean monthly active users.
We all know the basic consumer apps that we all use in India for to fetch a ride, to order food, to book our flights.
Yeah.
Is it likely that most of those apps, or a good number of those apps, you've approached them as customers?
100%. Like if they're based out of India, built from India or anywhere in the regions.
They're the biggest in India?
By default, yes. Like those are the ones we will go after first. Keep on our radar, maybe start early selling. Sometimes they might close or show an interest, but they are the ones which will take like 18, 20, 24 months to close.
Anup, what's the first lesson that you have for us in enterprise sales that, people who are getting started as an early salesman or, as an early founder, they most often than not get wrong?
The first thing what worked for me, and this is through trial and error, is mapping your market very, very well. Because a lot of times people just have like a list of app names or company names they want to go after. Sometimes they are like the good brands which has a lot of noise. Like say Paytm might be a good brand where everybody might know, so you might add that into that list. But then they might ideally can be the most paying company or not. But then every sales guy also has a quota which they have to hit, and they are actually being judged quarterly and say half yearly or yearly. So the first thing is to map out how many companies you want to approach, how many companies are actually in your territory, and the trajectory of how many I should ideally be talking to now, or sometimes like 3 months from now or 6 months from now, that I actually hit my quota by the end of the year.
जब हम बात कर रहे हैं accounts की, clients की, you said in enterprise deals में होता है कि deals convert after 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. I was talking to someone the other day. They were like, Japanese deals would never close before 1.5 years. I mean, how can anyone predict कि ये deal कब close होगी? How do you get a sense?
It depends on what the deal is. Did they approach us or are we approaching them? It's like the leverage again by default. Like a large company might say that, okay, we have a problem and these companies completely solved. So their trajectory will be completely different. But then versus I'm like, okay, I want to work for this company. So their value will be different. Again, those also will be faster because they'll be like, okay, we have a need. You have hit us at the right time. There is a lot of luck factor also. Like there are a lot of good deals which fall in the last minute, or a lot of unplanned deals suddenly come in. But then if planned well, I think you should be at least hitting 80% of your goal consistently. If not, like say going above 200%, 300%.
So the possibility of you reaching your goal is a lot dependent on your planning. Not necessarily how much effort you put.
But effort, again, it depends, right? Like
rational effort,
you want to climb a wall, but then you need to first see that is that wall I want to climb. Like for example, if I have like $1 million quota hypothetically, and if my average deal sizes is like say 10K per month, USD per month, then I might not be able to close 100 deals in a year to hit my quota. I need to have few whales which will bring me 200K, 300K, 500K, where 50-70% of the time is gone there. The quota is spent there, and then basically you have few deals where you want to still nurture and talk.
Fair enough. Cool. What's the second most often recurring mistake that you see?
It's a daily habit, because a lot of times you get too busy in closing your existing deals that you don't focus on building a new pipeline. Pipeline is where the new companies you need to be talking to have that, because the ones I am talking today, say will sign in this month, and I have signed all of them. But then in January, if I start talking to the new company, then they will sign in say April or June or July. So for me, what phenomenally has worked is mandatory 2 hours of prospecting. Prospecting is where I am spending at least 2 hours every single day hunting and searching for new companies through LinkedIn, through news, through funding, through friends, through Twitter, through anywhere.
What next?
I think a lot of people also do mistake of finding the real pain point. And again, I'm saying that I'm also guilty of it because
They do a mistake by finding.
by not finding
Okay.
the real pain point, because a lot of times we directly attack by like, we are this company, feature. We have this brands, blah, 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 blah. But very less time is actually spent to find that what real problem you have. Like you have to find out that mudda, ki like this is the main crux of the point and this is why we are actually better. And this is why solving this is your important priority. And that's where I actually tell people that you have to think like a doctor, because the moment you walk into a hospital, a doctor will not put you on a stretcher and start operating. He'll start finding out your real cause and issues. So like a lot of sales messages, even what I get, and sometimes I'm also guilty because it takes a lot of effort to personalize for everyone, where you just start copy thinking this will work. Sometimes it will work, but majority of the times it falls flat. And even when somebody then comes on a call, if you don't find out why are they here or what problems are they solving, you have no case to follow up with them in the next. Otherwise, you might have a call, you might reach out to them, they'll say, okay, it's amazing call, send me more information, and then you'll send information and they go silent. And then your second follow-up is like, okay, bring this back to your inbox, or we are working this, or then third is like, this is a case study that can help. But then you don't know what problem you're solving. It's like a hospital throwing you messages saying that we do brain surgery, we do cancer, we do kidney, we do this, right? I think most important is the mindset. And I'm a very, very big believer of sales mindset.
क्या है ये?
That you need to know that things will never go the way you want, because majority of the things are beyond your control. But then there are multiple thousand ways things can actually go wrong. I have turned very passive as a person over time, that even if a big deal says that we are interested, ज़्यादा खुश होने का ज़रूरत नहीं है, because I have seen that signing के एक दिन पहले also it might not come in, or somebody says कि यार हमको नहीं चाहिए, तो be like, you don't have to take it too hard, because over time they might actually come and work with you. People don't realize that there are amazing tools out there which even help sales guys to find which technologies your potential company is using, to maybe when did they install or when did they uninstall, to even find out who are the point of contacts. Like say LinkedIn Sales Navigator will directly tell you like, these are the product managers, these are the engineers, their names, their profiles show up, you can find their email IDs, you can find their background.
Most of these tools help you find the
100%,
right data.
100%.
What are sales tools limited to? Just data?
Data first, because you need to know it's intelligence, basically. Intelligence and scalability, because if I know like who to reach out to, what technologies are they using, how can I reach out to them, obviously I have to then make my case. Then you have Zoom, make it easy to communicate, or you have email to send proposals, or you have other things where if you know if somebody clicked on it, download or a PDF and stuff, and then DocuSign to make it easy. But then there's again internal sales tool for sales commission and stuff. There are cue cards where basically will say, like if you're having a call, it will actually record, it will actually take notes on your behalf, it will tell you how many number of times a competition word was used, what was the mood, everything. I think the next one which I'll say is you have to lead the conversation and the process of the sale. Like imagine like a guy, you're holding his hand and taking him from the tunnel to the end. Because a lot of times you talk to someone, he says send me the information, you don't know what timelines they're looking at. And it's like, no, this is a priority, we're looking something in this quarter or next, is vague. You have to then give them a timeline. Like, is it fair? Can we think of January 15th as a live date? And test. Because they don't have a date, so you're giving them a date and test. It's like, you're like, acha, theek hai, like, maybe they're not sure or a priority, then it's a different problem. It's like, yeah, January 15th sounds great, exciting. It's like, then try telling everyone around that, hey, Jan 15th is your date, Jan 15th is your date, and then back calculate that if Jan 15th they have to go live, 15 days back, maybe they'll have to be ready with their QA and testing. 15 days prior to that, they have to be integrated. By December 15th, they have signed the contract. and then you know that if they have signed the contract by December 15th, by at least November 20th or end of December, the contract has to be with the legal team, because if that doesn't happen, that won't happen. And then you know that if that is there, then pricing has to be done, say in October, November, this one, that they have to do a POC that is like, okay, is that feasible, or what do you cut from it to lead it or save time? Because you can't have open saying that, okay, need hai, everything is there, like I'm happy, budget, everything, but then there is no definite timeline. So you keep it open ended, you're leaving room where some other priority might come in between. So you have to set it. So a lot of times for me, the easy thing which works, okay, it's a priority, then let's do one thing. Weekly I'll set up, or a bi-weekly I'll add a calendar invite to you from now to Jan 15th, where you might not want to show up every time. We might not always have to talk, but then if there's something to talk, I will be there on that call, and I've blocked that time for you, for me. So every 2 weeks, even if he doesn't come on that call, he knows that, okay, there is this priority for me. Or if it's not a priority for me, I'll find that early that it's not a priority for me, that I'm like, okay, it's not a priority now, let me hold, pause, we'll come back to them later. Can I work on my same time on something else? Will be very very key, because you have to lead them or find out कि अभी नहीं तो कब, and अभी कब कभी अगर पता नहीं है तो क्यों पता नहीं है, or if that's important or not. So the last and the final thing, if I have to say someone, like if they don't even want to believe any of these six, is like, believe in what you're selling. Like you need to believe by default that I am actually working for a right product, I'm selling the right product. If you don't, none of these things will matter, because you will not have that perseverance or grit or determination, or even get into an argument with someone saying that, okay, you actually do not understand, we're actually good. Okay, we might not be the best, but we're not bad, and we have a solid case. And that belief makes a huge difference in your emails and everything. Like if you're confident about something, it radiates, like how you speak, how you talk, how you message. So find a way to believe. If you don't believe, find something you believe selling. If you don't find that also, then find, do you actually want to be in sales or not? Because a lot of people find this, yeah, sales is like लोगों से मिलना है, travel करना है, stuff. But then it's not, it's 5% of that. Like say, it's like that police job, right? Like people think like Singham जैसे like दिन भर like discount type का stuff. Whole day like मजा आएगा, right? Like, but then it might have 90% of the time of an admin deep work doing, and that is only the fun part last which comes out. But it's the grind which you go through every day, because you might have a good quarter, you might have a good day, you might have a good product. But if you do this as a career over time for like 10, 20, 30 years, for like hundreds of quarters in that, you have to be very, very cognizant with that process, that you might not be lucky always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.